The world teetered on the precipice. The Cold War cast a long shadow. The United States and the Soviet Union, armed with nuclear weapons, faced off. Distrust ran deep. Espionage became the deadliest game. In this tense atmosphere, one man dared to defy his own country. His name was Oleg Penkovsky, a high-ranking Soviet intelligence officer. Penkovsky was no ideologue. He was a patriot, driven by a conscience troubled by the lies and brutality of the Soviet regime. Oleg Penkovsky, born in 1919, was a decorated war hero. He served with distinction in World War II. He rose quickly through the ranks of Soviet military intelligence, the GRU.
Behind the medals and the outward show of loyalty, I harbored a secret. I was disillusioned. The horrors of Stalinism, the crushing of the Hungarian uprising, and the constant lies of the Soviet system gnawed at me. I became convinced that Khrushchev's regime posed a grave danger to the world.
Penkovsky's decision to betray his country did not come easily. It was a choice that weighed heavily on his conscience, a decision that would forever alter the course of his life and the lives of many others. It was a slow burn, fueled by a growing sense of dread and a desperate hope for peace. Each day he witnessed the tightening grip of the Soviet regime, the increasing paranoia, and the relentless pursuit of power. He saw the Soviet Union's aggressive military buildup, the sheer scale of their preparations for war, the tanks rolling through the streets, the missile silos being constructed in secret locations, and the soldiers marching in unison, all painted a grim picture of the future. Its reckless disregard for human life was evident in the brutal conditions of the prison camps and the countless lives lost in the gulags. The regime's willingness to sacrifice its own people for the sake of its ambitions was a stark reminder of the cost of unchecked power. And its ambition for world domination was clear in the fiery rhetoric of its leaders, the propaganda that filled the airwaves, and the bold declarations made on the world stage. The Soviet Union was not just a threat to its neighbors but to the entire world.
In 1960, during a trip to Moscow, I made contact with Western intelligence. It was a moment of profound significance, a turning point that would set the course for the rest of my life. The streets of Moscow, with their imposing architecture and ever-watchful eyes, were the backdrop to this clandestine meeting. I offered my services, risking everything to warn the West about Soviet intentions and capabilities. The documents I handed over were filled with secrets that could change the balance of power, and I knew that discovery would mean certain death. For me, it was a moral imperative, a chance to prevent a catastrophic war. The threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large, and the stakes could not have been higher. I believed that by providing this information, I could help avert a disaster of unimaginable proportions.
Penkovsky's information was invaluable. It was a treasure trove of insights that allowed us to see the Soviet Union's plans with unprecedented clarity. The analysts pored over the documents, piecing together the puzzle of Soviet strategy. It gave us a clear picture of the Soviet threat and their military capabilities. The maps and briefings that followed painted a stark picture of the dangers we faced, but also provided the knowledge we needed to counter them.
His courage and determination were unparalleled. In the face of immense personal risk, he chose to act, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to make a difference. To act against his own country was an extraordinary act of bravery. It was a decision that required immense fortitude and a willingness to sacrifice everything for the greater good. He became one of our most important assets. His contributions not only provided critical intelligence but also inspired others to take a stand against tyranny. Penkovsky's legacy is a testament to the power of individual action in the face of overwhelming odds.
The West, initially skeptical, soon realized the immense value of Penkovsky's offer. At first, there was hesitation and doubt about his true intentions. Could he be trusted, or was this a sophisticated Soviet ploy? However, as more information trickled in, the significance of his intelligence became undeniable. The documents he provided were not just ordinary files, they were a treasure trove of Soviet secrets that could potentially shift the balance of power in the Cold War. The CIA and MI6, recognizing the potential impact, mounted a joint operation codenamed Anagram to handle their prized asset. This operation was meticulously planned, involving top-tier agents and strategists from both sides of the Atlantic. The collaboration between these two powerful intelligence agencies was unprecedented, showcasing the high stakes involved. They knew that any misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences, not just for Penkovsky, but for the entire Western intelligence community. Penkovsky, operating under the codename Hero, began transmitting a torrent of secrets. His transmissions were frequent and detailed, covering a wide range of topics. From military strategies to political maneuvers, he left no stone unturned. Each piece of information he sent was a puzzle piece, slowly revealing the bigger picture of Soviet intentions and capabilities. His dedication and bravery were evident in every transmission, as he risked his life to provide this invaluable intelligence.
He used miniature cameras to photograph classified documents. These tiny devices, often hidden in everyday objects, allowed him to capture sensitive information without arousing suspicion. The photographs he took were clear and detailed, providing Western analysts with crucial insights into Soviet operations. The ingenuity and resourcefulness he displayed in using these gadgets were nothing short of remarkable. He held clandestine meetings with Western agents in London and Paris, passing on information about Soviet missile deployments, military plans, and even the inner workings of the Kremlin. These meetings were fraught with danger, as the ever-present threat of discovery loomed large. Yet, Penkovsky remained undeterred, understanding the importance of his mission. The information he provided was not just about military hardware. It included insights into the political dynamics and power struggles within the Soviet leadership, offering a comprehensive view of the enemy.
His bravery and the intelligence he provided played a crucial role in shaping the West's response to the Soviet threat, altering the course of history. The data he supplied allowed Western leaders to make informed decisions, countering Soviet moves with precision. His contributions were instrumental in several key moments of the Cold War, providing the West with a strategic advantage. Penkovsky's legacy is a testament to the impact one individual can have on global events, demonstrating the power of courage and conviction in the face of overwhelming odds. Section 5. A treasure trove of secrets. The intelligence Penkovsky provided was truly invaluable. He exposed Soviet military capabilities, revealing that their much-vaunted missile force was far less powerful than they had claimed.
He gave insights into Soviet military thinking, their strategies, and their vulnerabilities. Penkovsky's information was detailed, accurate, precise, and timely.
It gave the West a crucial advantage in the dangerous game of nuclear chess, allowing them to anticipate Soviet moves and call their bluffs effectively. Section 6. The Cuban Conundrum. In 1962, the world held its collective breath. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the U.S. and the Soviet Union to the very brink of nuclear war. Soviet missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida, posed an existential threat to the United States.
The situation was extremely volatile. Miscalculation or misjudgment on either side could have easily triggered a nuclear holocaust.
It was Penkovsky's crucial intelligence that proved decisive in averting this unthinkable outcome. Section 7. Penkovsky's Intel, Turning the Tide. Penkovsky had warned the West about Soviet plans to place nuclear missiles in Cuba. His information allowed President Kennedy to take a firm stand, demanding the removal of the missiles and imposing a naval blockade on Cuba.
He knew the true extent of the Soviet threat, and he knew that Khrushchev was bluffing. The world watched in horror as the two superpowers stared each other down. But behind the scenes, Penkovsky's intelligence gave Kennedy the confidence to stand his ground.
Section 8. The world holds its breath. The crisis played out over 13 tense days. The world held its breath as Soviet ships approached the U.S. blockade. The threat of nuclear war loomed large, but Kennedy, armed with Penkovsky's intelligence, refused to back down. Finally, Khrushchev blinked. He agreed to remove the missiles from Cuba in exchange for a U.S. pledge not to invade the island and the secret removal of U.S. missiles from Turkey. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief. The crisis was averted. Section 9. Betrayal and Capture. Tragically, Penkovsky's espionage was not to last. Betrayed by a suspected double agent within the British Secret Service, he was arrested by the KGB in October 1962, just as the Cuban Missile Crisis was reaching its peak.
His arrest was a devastating blow to the West. Penkovsky's courage had saved countless lives, but his own fate was now sealed.
The Soviets, enraged by his betrayal, were determined to make an example of him.
Section 10. A Hero's Demise. Penkovsky's trial was a sham. Accused of treason and espionage, he was denied a fair hearing.
He was sentenced to death and executed in 1963. The exact details of his death remain shrouded in mystery, but it is believed that he was cremated and his ashes disposed of secretly.
His family suffered too. They faced years of persecution and hardship. But Penkovsky's sacrifice was not in vain. His courage had changed the course of history, preventing a war that could have destroyed the world. Section 11. Penkovsky's Legacy. The Echoes of Courage. In the annals of history there are few figures as compelling and courageous as Oleg Penkovsky. His story is one of immense bravery, a tale that continues to resonate through the corridors of time. Oleg Penkovsky was a true hero of the Cold War. Born in the Soviet Union, he rose through the ranks to become a high-ranking military intelligence officer, but his journey took a dramatic turn when he decided to act against the very system he served. Motivated not by ideology but by a love for his country and a belief in humanity, he risked everything to prevent a nuclear catastrophe. Penkovsky's decision to share critical information with the West was driven by a profound sense of duty to protect the world from the brink of destruction.
His legacy is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, one person can make a difference. Penkovsky's actions were not just about espionage, they were about safeguarding humanity. His courage in the face of immense personal risk is a powerful testament to the impact one individual can have. Penkovsky's story is a testament to the power of courage, conviction, and the unwavering belief in a better world. His willingness to stand up against a formidable regime, to choose truth over deception, and to prioritize global safety over personal security, speaks volumes about his character.
His actions serve as a beacon of hope in a world still grappling with the threat of nuclear war. The information he provided was instrumental in averting a potential disaster during the Cuban Missile Crisis, a pivotal moment in history that could have led to unimaginable consequences. He reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, it is always right to choose peace over conflict, truth over lies, and courage over fear. Penkovsky's legacy is not just a chapter in the history of espionage, it is a lesson in the enduring power of human spirit and the relentless pursuit of a safer, more just world.